Let's close our eyes. Let's just come back to ourselves, yeah? So wherever you are sitting, just feel your environment. Close your eyes and take a deep breath. Breathing in from the nose and breathing out from the mouth. 3 breaths like this. And allow each breath to bring you home to yourself, tuning in to your body, to where you are right now, connecting with your body, with your heart. As we are relaxing, let's tap into ourselves when we are born. By birth only we come into a relationship. Our first relationship is with our mother, who gives us birth. And slowly as we go on, and as we start growing up, we start connecting with the environment around us. So as a little child, we are trying to form these associations, which we don't understand yet. After the age of 2, we somehow start noticing things, we start connecting things. We are told that this is mom, that mother says, I'm your mom, call me mama. The father says, I'm your father. I'm talking in general sense. Sometimes children are adopted or they are given away. Those are different scenarios, but no matter where we are, as a human child, we need a lot of care in our primal years. Without that care, the human child cannot survive. And as we know, our brain is also developing at those times. The neuroplasticity of our brain is very fluid. And the brain of the little child is like a sponge. It's just collecting and gathering information from the field around. And we are wired, all of us are wired for survival. And that's how we come into this world. So as we are connecting to that little child also inside us, who came into this earth, who came into this life, and who has grown up to be this adult right now, who is listening, who is trying to absorb this knowledge, what we are talking, trying to understand. So relationships, it's a very intimate topic because we are in relationships right from the time we come into this world, whether we are conscious of it or not. And the most important relationship that we go on missing because nobody else taught us is a relationship with ourselves. Because as a little child, we look at ourselves through the eyes of others. If the mother is happy, she's smiling, the child feels good. If the mother is sad or angry or suppressed or depressed, the child's survival is at stake. And that's how we keep growing up, absorbing the atmosphere around us. And all of us, through hit and trial, we learn our coping mechanisms. We learn how to survive. We learn when to say what, when not to say what. And disciplining is another part of growing up. So all of us, we go through all these things in our life. And because relationships is not a talked about subject, as in childhood we understand that somebody else has to take care of me, we apply that kid logic later on also in our life. That somebody else is responsible for taking care of my needs. My happiness depends on somebody else outside of me. And unconsciously, that's how we keep living our life. So feel what I have just said, where it resonates with you. Relationships are very important because We are social creatures. Right from the cave time, humans, they lived in collectivity to survive. So it is kind of imprinted in our limbic brain. Through relationships, we see ourselves. Through relationships, we learn how to give and receive love. So as I explained, when we are children, all of our needs don't get met. Some get met, some don't get met. And we have a lot of needs when we are children. On an average, those who have small children would know that a small child, 3, 4, 5, 6-year-old child, asks maybe 200 or 250 questions every day. They are so inquisitive. They want to absorb the field. They want to gather information. They keep asking questions. And most of the time, the caregivers are busy. They have to do a lot of things for survival. And for a little child, a little no or a little stern look is also enough to put the child into a doubt into themselves, into doubting themselves. But we take that kid's logic into our adult life also because it is so subconscious. We don't become aware of it. And that's what we keep recreating in our adult relationships also. We'll go deeper into that in a moment. But just absorbing what I said and how it resonates. And all of us who are here, we are here because we want to make our relationships work. We want to live a better life. We want to create healthy boundaries. We want to understand where I stand or what it is that I need to bring in my life or where it is that I am avoiding or where I am blocking. That I can bring more joy, more balance into my life. Most of the times in relationships, things are unsaid. We expect the other to understand it because it is very difficult for us to express our needs because most of the times we also don't know what it is that I really need. So in this first module, we will try to understand, make better friends with ourselves, try to understand ourselves. And to understand ourselves deeply, we have to take a little dive into our childhood. So as we are in a meditation right now, I will continue. So just go back to your childhood, whatever age comes to you, 3, 4, 5, whatever age comes to you. Scanning the environment of home, like how it is you felt in the house. How was it around you? How was the mother feeling, the father, or if there were other family members, your siblings, your aunts or uncles? Did you feel safe? Did you feel welcomed? So, give yourself a little time to just go into that childhood, going into that house where you grew up, and tapping into those feelings. What were you feeling? Did you feel that you were loved? Did you feel that you were heard? Or was there too much pressure to be topper in the class? Was money an issue in the household when you grew up? Did you often find your parents struggling to pay bills? Or was there violence in the house? Whatever it is, whatever it was, just to notice that, because that little child observed these things. The little child grew up in that environment. And every time something happens in the house which is shocking to the child feels that its survival is at stake. Unconsciously, the child feels not safe. It feels that the child has to do something to bring balance, to bring happiness, or to do something so that it can again bring back happiness in the house or calm in the house. Many a times when parents are fighting, I have seen the children will fall down or they will hurt themselves to distract the attention. So just giving these examples to notice what was happening in your house. So as we are little children, we have these basic needs. And when our needs are not met, when we are little children, we go into a scramble, like we can shout or create drama, or we can cry, we can create a mess, and then we are disciplined. So over a period of time, we learn that the way I am expressing is not okay. So we start kind of suppressing. We start, some children start becoming good children, because when they are good girls, they are given more attention. So kind of we start suppressing our natural urges, which is part of disciplining. Some children become rebellious, some children become angry. So I will make few statements and see what statement resonates with you. So when you were growing up, when there is a violence in the house, or when there is some kind of abuse, or some children who go through sexual abuse or physical or mental abuse, or safety is an issue. Sometimes some families live in zones where there is a lot of war or fighting happening. So those children, they live with this survival thing that, am I safe? Every time safety is at stake. So they become hyper vigilant. So if this statement resonates with you, am I safe? Then we go to the next statement. Am I secure? In some households, money is a big issue, where parents are struggling to pay their bills. Sometimes the school fees is delayed, and money is always an issue. So when a child grows up in this kind of environment, the child is always afraid from where the next meal will come. The child may not understand, but these pressures the child feels. So money becomes a very important value for these children. Am I secure? And sometimes both these statements, am I safe and am I secure, can combine together also. So security comes with financial abundance. Like, am I secure to pay my bills or to take care of my needs? Why I'm saying these statements? Because unconsciously we bring them into our adult life. That I will explain later. But right now, just focus on these statements, whatever resonates. Am I loved? Love is a very basic need for all of us. Little babies, when they are not touched, they have autism or they have autoimmune diseases. So touch is very important for our health and our growth. As little children, did we feel that we were loved? Did we feel that we were looked with love, or we were touched with love? It cannot happen all the time, but most of the times. Was I loved? Do I feel that, am I loved? We will go deeper into the meaning of love, because love is a very vast term. Love also means that were we cared for, were we heard whenever we wanted to say something, or when we wanted to share something, were we shut down, or we were ignored, or we were not given attention to. All this comes in love. So was I heard? The next one is, am I wanted? Many a times in many families, there are many children and one more comes. And the child feels that I was not wanted, I just appeared. And then I was just one of the crowd. So each child has a space in the family. So how does it resonate with you when I say, am I wanted? Did you feel wanted? Did you feel that you had a place in the family? That you were important, that you were heard, that you were acknowledged? It is a very important need to be wanted. Especially in Asian countries, many a times, because of the pressure, mothers are wanting a son, and then a daughter comes along, and right from the time of the birth, the daughter feels unwanted, because that's the kind of response she gets from the field, and then the child grows that I am not wanted. Just see if this resonates with you. Am I wanted? In some families, success is a very big value. Parents are always comparing siblings with each other or with other classmates. You always have to be a topper, then you are given attention. If you get less marks, you are not given any attention. So am I successful? That becomes value when we are growing up. So did you have to really push hard, try hard to get good grades so that you could get some acknowledgement, some appreciation, some applaud from your caregivers? Was coming first or being a topper a value in your family? Am I good enough? This is the next one. And I come across many people with this value, including me. When I grew up, I always felt, am I good enough? All my childhood, even till few years back, this question was always in the background. Am I good enough? So this happens when we are criticized, when we are judged as children, when our appearance is judged, when our clothing is judged, when our siblings or friends, they make joke on us, they laugh at us, or when we are kind of pointed out. And then the little child starts asking, am I good enough? Because whatever I do, it's not appreciated. So there is some fault in me. I am a defective piece. The child kind of makes this program in the kid logic that I am not good enough. These statements, just ponder over them, and whatever highlights, whichever comes up. It is not something that we have to fix. It is not a fault in us. It is something that we have to become aware of. Because later on I will explain how it keeps affecting and playing up in our life. Subconsciously, we are not even aware of it. And it keeps on running the show. And the next one is, do I have a purpose? In many families, purpose is very driven. Your life has to have a purpose. You have to achieve something, or you have to change the world, or you have to do something where the whole world knows you. So purpose is very, very important in the parents, and then that is given to the child also. That you have to have a purpose. This life should not be just meaningless. So that is the value when the child is given, that do you have a purpose? Then we are always looking at everything from these filters, from these glasses. Does this have a purpose when I do? So do I have a purpose? So allow these statements to just float in your mental space and see what comes up. Keeping your eyes closed, just tuning in. These are called our primal needs. These are the needs of a little child. We all have some need or the other. That when it is fulfilled, when this need is met with a yes, we are at our best. We succeed in life, we are happy, we are able to do things. There is a kind of a rhythm in our life. And obviously all the time this statement cannot be met with a yes, but whenever it is met with a yes, like we feel our best. Because it is our very basic subconscious need, which we are not even aware of, which runs the show. And when this need is not met, when this need is met with a no or a maybe, like it's not clear, that confuses the child. The child doesn't understand that what has gone wrong. And then this is how our personality also develops. Somehow we learn to manipulate around this need. We learn how to make this no a yes. We try in many, many, many ways to make this no a yes. And sometimes we acquire negative behaviors, we'll self-sabotage. Sometimes, for an example, if am I loved is my need. And to be loved, we will compromise, we will start people-pleasing, we will go out of our way, we will keep giving in order to receive love, we will self-sabotage ourselves. Like to make our needs meet from outside, we kind of lose ourselves. That is why it's very important for us to find. It is not a fault, it's nothing that we have to fix. It is just to know what is operating underneath my emotional system. What is it that keeps me stuck? Because it keeps playing up in relationships, it keeps playing up in our work environment, it keeps playing up everywhere. To make it clear, I'll give you another example. If somebody's need is, am I safe? Maybe in the childhood there was a lot of violence, or there was drug abuse, or there was a lot of fighting happening between the parents, or a war zone. Whatever could be the scenario, the child did not feel safe. Every time something happened, the child's safety was at threat. That child becomes hyper-vigilant, is all the time like alert, in the alert mode. And when we carry on with this kid logic into our life, that I have to be hyper vigilant, I have to be ultra safe, and I have to keep people safe. So we start creating very strong boundaries that you don't have to do this, you don't have to go late in the night, or many like fearful factors, they start coming in our life. Whereas at that time maybe it was right, but now when we run our life with that kid logic, we create kind of a lot of hurdles for our practical life. And we start living out of fear, hypervigilance, and we are never relaxed. All the time our nervous system is at high alert, which creates mental fatigue, physical fatigue, a lot of illnesses. But we don't even know that what is happening underneath the whole spectrum, until unless we can identify where is it that my kid is still feeling that afraid and is still frozen in that primal need. Because in every primal need, later on we will discover, there is a primal truth and a primal gift. So let's take another deep breath. So when you feel ready, you can open your eyes.
Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed this meditation by Bodhi Mrida, which was given to a live audience for the course Relationship as Our Mirror. During the next few days, it would be good to just notice how your primal needs show up in your day-to-day life. If you enjoyed this video, we would be grateful if you shared and subscribed to this channel to get more of such content. We would also love to hear about your thoughts, what this meditation stirred up for you. So let's keep this conversation going. Have a lovely day ahead.